Hey, everyone. This is your girl. This is Coco 929. Hope everyone is doing great. I am sitting back. I was watching some things on these YT streets. I roller skated around a little bit yesterday and heard my favorite songs, so I roller skated a little bit more. I just want to touch on something. I heard a YouTuber. She's a mom. I heard her a clip. I didn't listen to her, but I heard a clip in different chats when she stated, "You need to tell your children what you went through to get what they needed, not what they want." She says something to the effect of, "You don't know who I had to suck, uck, bend over so they can, whatever, just to get you a PlayStation or those Jordans, well, tennis shoes. I don't want to say Jordans because maybe she didn't say that, but and everything." And so I understand what she was trying to say because I want to touch on that as a parent sometime and as a single parent when your kids are in dire strait or they really, really need something. You can never say what you won't do, and that's the truth. You can never say what you won't do to make sure that your family stays strong. You can never say what you won't do to make sure that your kids don't suffer behind a decision or a choice that you made. And most of the time, the choices, when it comes down to that, was not the best choice to be made. I am not sitting in judgment of this lady because I never walked in her shoe. I don't know what her situation was. So, and I'm just referring to what she said when it comes to being a mother, a single mother, raising her kids. Okay? I can identify with some things like that. So, what I'm going to tell you guys, I know with everything else that I'm saying, this should shock you, but it just might shock you. So, let's get into it. So, first of all, anyone who has subscribed to me, I really want you to know I thank you so much for feeling that I have something that you want to hear. I appreciate that. I do not take it lightly. My thing is, I want to, from my platform, be a positive experience, somewhere where you come to hear that if God can use me or bring me out of something horrific, then your situation is not impossible. I want to be a voice of change. So I can't do anything with anybody else. I can only change me and talk about the things that I've been through or that I see are my objection or my way of viewing different things. And hopefully someone can agree with that or agree that they don't see it that way, but they understand where I'm coming from. So that's basically what my platform is about. There are times when prophetically I will say something that needs to be said, and we'll go from there. Okay. But for the most point, just enjoy, and allow the things that I came out of to minister to you in any way possible. And if you feel like someone needs to hear it, invite them to the page, have them come over and take a peek, and hopefully they'll become my Hershey's Kisses. Okay. All right. So some of you all, I'm gonna give a backstory that I'm gonna come, then I'm gonna say what I have to say. Some of you all have been on here and you heard that I used to be molested, incest, raped, things like that. Okay, so fast forwarding, I was, and still is. Let me say that I was one heck of a dancer. I'm talking about when we went to the club, my friends would get so angry with me. They didn't want to go club with me because they would like to stand around and sit around and talk. And my philosophy is if I'm going to pay to get in somewhere, I'm going to do what I came to do. I can talk to y'all at home. We can sit out in the yard and pop up a cooler or whatever we're going to do and talk. But we came to go out, to enjoy ourselves. So I ain't going to sit with y'all hands at the table and all this music is out here in the dance floor. So I became the dancer of the group. And it wasn't anything for me to hit the club with my friends. our family or whatever, and I stay on the dance floor. I got known on the dance floor because people used to like back up off the dance floor and watch me dance. And I remember several times dudes would come up trying to dance with me and couldn't hang, could not hang. And sometimes you would, see me dancing with two dudes on the floor, and everything. And everybody would still be hollering, shorty, shorty, like that. So my friends got used to it. They're like, well, I already know when we go out, she just going to take over the floor. You absolutely right. The heck, So anyway, I realized at an early age that I had a gift of dancing. I told you guys, and when I say all these parts of me that I am, um, it's because of my parents and then my parents' parents, okay? Because on one side of my family, my mom, she is Irish, okay? And you look at her complexion, she can actually pass, for real. That's how light she is. She can actually pass. She's Irish. She's um I don't want to lie. Okay, she's Irish. Of course, she's African American, and she has one more in her. I know it's some form of um, Indian, but I don't know what. So I'm not gonna put that on my mom. So I know it is, but I'm not gonna put that on because of who her parents was. Okay, one of her parents is full blooded. Um, oh my goodness, what is granddaddy? We're gonna stop right there because I don't want to get into that. And then on my dad's side, um, his mother is Creole, which is, I told you I have a certain type of Indian she is, and she's also um, Spanish. Her husband was Geechee, and he was from Africa. So that made my dad, uh, what they call that, it starts with an M, where your four things made up into one. So, and then their parents was, I know my grandmother, which is my dad's mother, I know her mom came from Spain. Um, she was married to my granddad, whose last name was Gustav. My great granddad, whose last name was Gustav. So, I mean, it just runs deep. You feel me? So, anyway, and that's why when people see me, they're like, you're kind of mixed up. Your features is exotic, and I am. I have a little bit of everything. My eyes change. It's just, yeah, yeah. So the more excited I get, or the angrier I get, the more my eyes change. Yeah. So imagine me realizing that at an early age. I just didn't know what made them change. But I do. The same cousin I used to tell you guys about, the one I have a daughter by, his eyes changed as well. My dad's eyes changed. I have one uncle, which is my dad's brother. His eyes stay a funny color. It's not even, I don't even know what color you can call his eyes, but looking at him is kind of weird. So I knew I could dance, back to the story, a long time ago. And I used to win dancing competitions, everything. Like, we be outside and somebody bring us some music. Somebody say, come on, Coco, let's bop, let's bop. I bet I can get you this time, like that. And everybody be like, sit down somewhere. You can't, man. She go work you to, death like that. So it wouldn't be anything for me to be out in the street dancing and everybody start coming around like, go girl. So I got a name for myself as a dancer because I could dance. So when I started having kids, I was working and everything. I started working at the age of 16, okay? And I got hired at 15, but I couldn't start till I was 16. That was back, in the day. And I told you guys that my first child was my sweet 16th birthday gift because I actually had her a week before my 16th birthday. So, um, anyway, I was working and everything and stuff like that. I got out on my own. I told y'all about that story about me getting emancipated. I There was a reason I went to foster care, and I'll get into that later when I talk about the foster care system. It was a reason why I went to foster care. I was only in foster care for about, it totaled up, I believe, almost to a year because um, I was 16, and then I started dating a guy, and we started staying with him and his so-called roommate at the time. And then I got my own apartment a month before my 17th birthday, and then I went to court and got emancipated on my 17th birthday. So the judge signed off on my paper, said she's an adult now. She can make all the decisions as an adult, blah, blah, blah. Okay? And my foster mother was instrumental in making that happen, because when I entered her home and my attorney and her sat down to talk, my foster mother said, "This child don't belong here." She said, "All the other ones I got, yes." She said, "But she don't belong here." She said, "She's too smart and she knows a lot. There's nothing I can teach her. She needs to be on her own." And my attorney said, "I agree." You know, um, I don't really want to get into this story, but it's a reason why I entered into the foster care system, and I will come back to say that. But I will say, because of my foster mother making sure that the attorney did what was right by me, they put me on the docket to make sure that I could stand on my own and get out of the system before time, because I didn't need to be there, and that's what happened. So I was blessed. I will say, after I got emancipated and moved out on my own, every other day I was back down to my foster mother's house, just talking to her, sitting with her, helping her out, visiting her, stuff like that. So it wasn't just a one trick pony. She actually became so instrumental in my life. It was ridiculous. And I can stand on her shoulders and say, some of the woman that you see before you now is because of this woman. She's gone on to be with the Lord now, but I never forgot her love, her sacrifice, her determination to make sure that I was a strong woman, and I appreciate that. Sometimes God brings people in your life at a like weird time, but it's the best time. You understand? And a lot of times, family's not blood. Catch that. So moving forward, so I was on my own, and I had children. And so I remember, okay, so I remember, like I said, these stories, they cross, interbreed, and intermingle with one another. So y'all just gonna have to roll with me, because trust me, these stories intermingle with one another. There was never a clear cut, one overlapped the other, and then one ended. So I went for a job, and it was a janitorial job. So I remember this guy, when I was trying to get my high school diploma, came to the school I was at and passed out his card. Older man passed out his cards and all that stuff. He handed me his card. I said, "Thank you very much." And he kept staring at me, and I was laughing. So I was like, "Okay, where is this card at?" Because, see, now I'm on my own. I don't want the government's money. I've never been one who felt like a check a month from the government was going to be all that I needed. I've never been that chick, okay? So I was like, let me call and see if they hiring. So I put in an application, and I called the company and I said, "Hello," told my name and everything. I said, "You came to a school where I was going and passed out your card. And I just wanted you to know I applied. I was just wanting to know if you all were hiring." He pulled up my application, and he was like, "Yeah, I have your application sitting on my desk." He said, "Matter of fact, we was going to make calls today." He said, "But since you called, if you can, I need you to come in tomorrow, such time, for an interview." I said, "Sure." Got in there. Oh my goodness, I'm so verbal. Walked in there. This one guy introduced himself to me. I shook his hand. And he said, You can go right in his office. I said, okay, thank you. I said, and I stepped in the office. I said, ooh. And the guy said, huh? I said, your office is messy. And it's just me that I'm getting better now. I'm learning because the older you get, you begin. Well, I can't say that because I got an auntie who is still raw, and that's I'm just like a. But hopefully, I can be the exception. So he started laughing. He said, "Hey!" So he called this other manager from another room that told me to walk in. He said, "Repeat what you said again." I said, "What? That your office is messy like that?" And that man looked at him and said, "Her." And he bust out laughing. He said, "I am." He said, "That was bold." He said, "Yeah, I'm gonna hire you." So I filled out the application. I mean, I filled out my paperwork as far as your I-9 and all that stuff. I filled all that out. He explained to me, and I'm telling y'all, wasn't no interview. When I walked in and said that, he did. He hired me. It wasn't no interview. I just filled out my paperwork, and he just kept staring at me. And he said, "You're gonna be out at this particular location," and all this and stuff. I was so happy. I'm like, yes, yes. So I realized something. Okay. Now remember, damaged people, damage people. So I was damaged, but I held it together so well. When you saw me, you would have never known I was damaged. I knew. So my boss said, "Well, I'll be out there to show you the rope, and I'm going to have the supervisor meet you and everything, and they're going to explain to you what to do and all this." And I was like, okay. I said, "Thank you." So I shook his hand, and when I shook his hand, he held mine just a little bit too long. First mistake. It was his first mistake. And so he said, "Oh, I'm sorry," like that. And I just looked at him like a real slow and turned my head and walked out the door and said, "See you tomorrow." So I got back to the house and I thought, this is going to be interesting. Okay. So the next day, or whatever day I was supposed to report, I met this lady. She shook my hand. I shook her hand. She said, "I'm going to show you the ropes." She said, "You Coco?" I said, "Yes." She took me around all this and stuff. And she said, "I want you to be right here. This is what I want you to do." I said, "Okay." Lo and behold, about 20 minutes later, who do I see coming where I am? My boss, the one who hired me. And he said, "Hey." I said, "Hello." Kept on doing what I was doing. He was saying something. I kept on doing what I was doing. He said, "You're not going to talk to me?" I said, "Look." I turned off the vacuum cleaner. I said, "I get paid to talk. And right now, this is what they want me to do. So if you want to talk to me, you're either going to have to pay me to talk to me, or you're going to have to do my job." So he said, "Give me the vacuum cleaner." Can you believe that? He took the vacuum cleaner and I sat down. Lord. Oh, God, you kept me. So I sat down, and for him talking to me, he vacuumed and everything else. I was like, "Oh, for real?" So every day, y'all, he would find where I was and he would say, I know, to talk to you, I have to do your job." Now, this is the boss. He was he wasn't the CEO, but he was the area manager, area person that's over that whole location in this particular city. He was like right up under the CEO because they only had two facilities, one where I'm at and one in another state. And he was the one right up under the person who owned it. And this man in there vacuuming my floors just to talk to me. Okay? So anyway, this is what he didn't tell me though. Somebody must have snuck and told the supervisor. And so the supervisor, when my boss left, the supervisor said, "I need to speak with you for a moment." I said, "Okay." And she said, "Do you realize that he's married?" I said, "Who?" She said, "Our boss." I said, "No, Didn't see no ring, didn't look for one. That's not none of my business. And she said, well, I've been told that every day you two are together. I said, okay, then if you've been told that, I work here. He's my boss. What am I supposed to do if he wants to talk to me? Tell him no? So she thought about that. She said, well, I will have a talk with him. I said, can I ask you a question? I said, I don't understand what's going on. I mean, why is it that you are so into whether or not he talks to me? She blew my mind. She said, because that's my son. Oop, oop. I said, Mr. Taylor is, she says, my son. I said, oh, I see why. I said, but if I can be honest, she said, sure. I said, he comes looking for me. I don't go looking for him. She thought about that. She said, I'm going to have a talk with him. I was okay. So I didn't know that his wife, I ended up taking his wife's spot because she had got caught stealing. The boss's wife got caught stealing at this high-end store that we were cleaning. Okay? So she couldn't come back, so they needed to fill a spot. And I walked in his office and he hired me. So, okay, now y'all putting two to two together. Okay, so she talked to him evidently, because I'm going to say for the rest of that week, I didn't see him. Fine with me. As long as you get my check right, I'm good. So, one day, it was Friday evening, I believe. I was already out from work, and so um, I had my daughter at the time that was a baby. And that daughter's going to be an RN in September, y'all. Won't he do it? Come on, baby. Anyway, I had my daughter on my hip, and I had just walked up the street because I was waiting for AT&T to come and install my home phone, okay? And because, like I said, I was new in this particular apartment, I had to get away from psycho dude um, and everything. So everything was still being implemented. So I was walking to the payphone, summertime, had on my Daisy Dukes, honey. Your girl was thicker than a snicker, you hear me? No stomach, muscle thighs, because I used to run track and I roller skated a lot. I've always had a big butt, still got a big butt now, and everything. So I'm walking up to the store, to the payphone where the store is, with my baby on my hip, and this big, nice blue F-150 pulls up, and it's facing me. It's how it's pulling up because I'm going the way that it turned onto the street. I'm facing it. So he pulls up and he passes me. Then he stops. I see the truck stop, and he backs up real slow. So I keep walking like I'm walking. And he said, "Hey." He said, "Hey." I kept walking because I'm not an A. He said, "Coco." So I stopped and I turned around and looked. I said, "Hello." He said, "You're not going to talk to me?" I said, "I don't know who A is." He just dropped his head. He said, "Why you make it so hard for me to talk to you?" I said, "Why didn't you tell me you were married?" So he said, "My mother told you." "And why didn't you tell me it was your mother?" So he was like, "It's a long story." He said, "Where you going?" I said, "Right here to use the phone." I said, "Because I need to make sure they still coming to hook up my stuff today." I said, "I need my phone and stuff." And he said, "I know that's right." He said, "Well, my sister lives over here." I said, "Ooh, how is that?" I said, "Ben, you staying connected to me, orange juice. I think you're doing it on purpose." He started laughing. And he said, he said something to me. I said, "Up, we off the clock. This is my time. And I told you to talk to me." He said, "I know, I know. You get paid to be talked to." I said, "Yes, I do." He said, "Well, I gotta go over with my sisters. Can I talk to you later?" I said, "You got some money?" He said, "You really mean that?" "Absolutely." Because my mentality, y'all, was this man was a boss. Okay? I'm a boss. And I've always said I was a boss. Okay? More true now than it was back then, but I was speaking it into existence. I know I was a boss over me and my finances and my children. So therefore, if you a boss, one boss to another, you gonna boss up. Okay? So Okay, my cat's crazy, y'all. I'm sorry. He's chasing a napkin. Bless her. Oh, she. Bless her heart. So, anyway, you better not go on my TV. How about that? Okay, so, um, I said yes. So I told him, I said, tell you what, you can come by my house. I gave him I said, well, no, I didn't give him my address because I said, you know my address. You're my boss. He said, well, I don't have it on me. So that's how it was. I said, well, and I told him, where I was and everything. He said, okay. He said, well, I have to pass your apartment and make a right to go over my sister's. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. So I told him what time to be there. And he said, okay. So that particular, because it was a Friday night, so that particular night, my kids went to spend the night over family members. So when they went over there, I was like, okay, because I already knew, because I was supposed to be going somewhere, didn't get a chance to go anywhere. So I was like, okay, this is gonna work out. Oh, y'all. So this man came over. He came in. He sat down, and I sat across from him, and I said this: "What's your intentions with me?" And he was shocked. And he said, um, I don't get it. I said, no, you're married. Ever since I walked in your office, you've been trying to let me know that you feel me. I'm younger than you. You're older than me. What do you want? He didn't know how to answer that question. I'm so direct. It's like I've never heard nobody ask me that before. He said, well, let me explain my situation. I said, okay, I'm all ears. So he told me they he was on the verge of getting a divorce because his wife was a kleptomaniac. She had been caught stealing several times. It's put his position in jeopardy because they took her out of one place and put her in another store to clean, and she ended up stealing from that one, and so the owner of the company gave him an ultimatum: you need to get her under control, you need to, whatever the case may be. And so he was stuck, and he was like, it was embarrassing for him, um, because of who he is, to, how can I say it, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I'm trying to sum it up. It was embarrassing by him being who he is, for his wife, who he was taking care of, to be caught stealing. And she don't have to steal, but because she has that I can't help it thing, she was stealing from different stores, and it makes him look bad. It makes him look like, why would they trust him to be in charge of something when he can't even control his wife? And so he said that they had many arguments over that, and they had decided that they were going to split, and things like that. So, and I was like, okay, okay. So I'm listening. I wasn't trying to be heartless, but again, what do you want from me? That was basically what I needed to know. What do you want from me? You know. So he told me that night he was interested in getting to know me better. I said, okay, so let's do this. I said, can I just be honest with you? He said, yes, it's okay. Let me tell you something. I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, and the only thing I have room for now is somebody who's going to help me take care of my children. I takes care of my kids, but if you in my face, you're going to take care of me. And if that's acceptable, we can go forward. So he was like, wow, I've never heard that before. So anyway, so I said, I tell you what, let's come into an agreement. Yeah, I could say what y'all want to say, baby, but hey, it is what it is. I said, let's come into an agreement. I said, how about I dance for you and you pay me? His mouth dropped. He was like, okay. Because Y'all, this man, even though he was older than me, he had been sheltered. I guess he was somewhat of a nerd. I don't know what the case was. He was a handsome man. I don't know what did I ever happen with these tall men. This man right here was 6'4". He was 6'4". He was 300 pounds, like one M&M away from 301 pounds. You feel me? 300 pounds, chocolate, 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 chocolate. So anyway, I was like, okay. So he was like, yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Okay, and so that's what I did for a while. I want to say I did that for him. Became what is called private dancer. I did that for. Matter of fact, I stopped working out there because he was paying me so well, and I told him just to tell you I stopped working out there. I said, I'm gonna have to stop this with you because I keep having to go to work and then I have to come home and be a mother to my kids, and I don't want my kids to know who you are, because I never did that. I don't understand how these women let their kids meet all these dudes. I don't get that. I have no idea. So and he was like, well, just go ahead and quit, and I'll take care of you. Bingo. That's what I wanted to hear, and that's what I did. I went on. I finished out my week, and after that, I told um, his boss, well, his mother, that I wouldn't be back. That I have another position, which wasn't lying, and so it became twice a week, and twice a week. You talking about funds, baby, baby, honey. I had enough. I would have so much money. I turned around. I bought me a living room suit cash. My kids had the best. My pocket stayed on full. Okay? This kept going. This kept going. And I want to say it went on for about, I want to say 6 months, 6 or 7 months. And then it switched up because I became his dominatrix. Y'all, my life gets deep. I keep telling y'all, if y'all don't know what a dominatrix is, you better look it up. But I became that to him. Not only him, but we're talking about him right now. And that was something that took him over. When I tell you, I think he was addicted to me. Um, it was so to the point where he actually proposed to me. And y'all, mm, I wrote about this too in my book, but um, it was deep. It was very deep. And so I was already getting paid for him very nicely for being a stripper to him. Then it crossed over, and it crossed over one night kind of creepy. And it was creepy to me, and I did it. But he obeyed what I said. And I was like, oh, so you're one too. You're a powerful man that like to be submissive. Got it. And the next time he came over, it was on. And when I tell y'all, and money came in like a water, like a faucet turned on, and money came in, baby. I thought I was balling. I wasn't balling until that happened, honey. Who? This went on so much, y'all. I tried to break away from this particular individual, and I started working a different job. But this person found me again. I'm, y'all don't want to hear about my life. This person found me again because, believe it or not, where I moved at, he had another sibling that lived in the same complex. So again, I picks up and become to him what he wanted. Money, extra money this time. I had so much money, y'all. I would look through my drawers for different things, like your dresser drawers, and be looking for something and run up on 2 or 3 paychecks that I had not cashed. Where I've taken them and put them in my drawer to cash them, and then forgot because he's keeping my pockets so full, I don't have to cash no check. I'm like, oh my goodness, I ain't even cash this. Let me go to the bank and cash. Let me go to the honey. In demand. In demand. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Because I was good at what I did. That's why I don't do anything unless I'm good at it. If I learn it, I'm one of them. I'm like a dog with a bone. If it piques my interest, I find out everything about the situation so I can become the best. That's always been me. Perfectionist. So, like I said, he proposed to me, so I'm like, okay. So I accepted his proposal, but he wasn't the only dude I had at the time. But I did accept his proposal because I'm thinking, well, maybe I could settle down with him. He uh, used to be in the CIA. Um, yes, honey, I told you, powerful. I was not playing. He was a CIA person. He retired from the CIA to go full time up under the CEO with this company. Um, See now his credentials. He still got his credentials. Um, it just, yeah. So I introduced him to my kids. So for their birthdays and stuff, he used to come and he didn't know what to buy him. He would just give him money. Just give him money. Just give him money. Just give him money. Um, One particular time, it was snowing. And the roads was closed here. And I'll tell you about that some other time. But just know this, his car got stuck and he walked 9 blocks to my house because he wanted to see me that night. I'm telling you, say what you want, but when a mother has children, you do what you can to be strong. And I had no problem taking care of my kids because I was working. But if I had a chance to get extra money for something I already did, you bet your sweet molasses I did. You know, um, then my kids went away for the summer, and so that summer I had an appointment with one of my cousins. I still had my own, but then me and one of my cousins went in half and got an appointment in another part of the city. And so he couldn't find me. And my neighbors, where my apartment was, had my number because they, if something went wrong or whatever, they would call me or whatever. And so I was checking in one of my neighbors, and she was like, "Girl, that man's going crazy. He done been over here and sat in front of your house. He done walked around and all this." I said, "Yeah, for real?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Let me call him." I said, "Okay." I hung up. I said, "I heard you looking for me like that." He said, "Yeah, where you at? I'm just trying to make sure you're okay. I ain't heard from you all week." He was quiet. I said, "Shut up, shut up." "Yes, ma'am." I was like, I cannot believe this. Anyway, I told him where I was, but I was like, I need $200. He was like, okay, I'm gonna bring you. Where you want to meet you at? Brought me $200 cash. He's like, can you see me today? Can you see me today? I said, not today, but I could probably see you tomorrow. Okay, okay, you want me to come out here? I said, no, meet me at the apartment. He said, okay. So the next day, he called. He said, are we still meeting? I said, yeah. I said, but I need $100. He said, I just gave you two yesterday. I said, I need 100 today. What? Okay, I'll meet you at the apartment with 100. I said, okay. And my cousin was like, dang, dude. I said, I told you. I told you. So y'all, you do what you can. So I'm not gonna knock off. Hey, it's how your hustle is, and my hustle just so happened to be stronger. You know, it is what it is. So that's why I said, a whole lot of times I sit back and I just be thinking that I'm so grateful I was not consumed in the lifestyle that was going on because, wow, it was a lot. This man, like today, even though I'm married, if I was to call him today, he would meet me somewhere and bring me some money with the hopes that I would be back with him. He's been married. Because, see, I called off our wedding. Let me go here. I called off our wedding. He was taking me, I had my dream home. We used to sign on the line because I told you he used to be in the CIA, so his credit is great. He was getting a veteran's loan, a vet loan or something for the house I wanted, and everything. 4 bedroom, 3 baths, finished basement, walkout patio, built-in gazebo with a grill set. And all, I mean, the house was bad. He was like, if you want it, I get it and everything. But I was changing. I was changing to become something better than what I was. And I did not see him as a solid man in my life for my new life, for my changing I was doing because he was so a yes person when it came to me that I asked him one day, I said, let me ask you a question. I said, we get married. I said, what if we're married and I want to be with somebody else? Is that okay with you? And he was like, yeah, that's fine, that's fine. As long as you stay with me. And see, that right there showed me I would be able to do whatever I wanted to do. And he wouldn't have a backbone to stand up against me and be like, no. See, so I was like, this ain't gonna work. Because I knew I was changing, like, in every way. So I called it off, and oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So, this just came, it just kept going, kept going. He just kept trying it, kept trying it, kept trying it, kept trying it. And so I'm gonna say about maybe 5 years ago now, I was going somewhere and I wanted, uh, what was I wanting? I was wanting something. And my phone rang because I stayed cool with him. My husband knows all about him, so no secret. I stayed cool with him, and he had called me, and I hadn't heard from him about maybe 6 months. And I was like, who is this? Because I don't have his number logged in. I don't call him. Ain't no use of me, logging your number in for what? So he said, well, how you doing, beautiful? And I knew that voice. I said, well, how are you? And he said, I'm good. He said, I think you just passed me. I said, where you at? He said, I was standing over by Long John Silver. I said, yep, that was me. I said, I'm sitting here debating if I want to take some money out the bank to give me something to eat, if I want to go home and cook. And he said, well, I'll buy you something to eat. I said, you always got a string attached. He said, no, I ain't seen you in forever. I just give you the money, you do what you want to do. So he pulled up beside me because I told him, well, I'm sitting here in the car. Pulled up beside me. He was like, it is so good to see you. Still beautiful and all this and all that. And he gave me the money. And I was like, thank you. I said, I think I'm going to go home and just go home and cook. But I appreciate it. I might go get my nails done with this. Now, y'all, I didn't need that man's money. But yet again, he's just, anytime it comes to me, here you go. Like I said, I was trying to tell y'all, ever since I called off the wedding, he has been married, y'all. Okay, me and my husband is 25 years this year. This man has been married one, two, three, 3 times. 3 times. And he always tell me, I just can't find nobody like you. I've been looking for somebody like you. I can't find nobody like you. And the stuff I like, he's talking about sexually. The stuff I like, they'll think it's weird and all this and stuff. And so, and I can't have you, can I? No. See, I knew you was gonna say that. So, um, and I feel sorry for him, and I'm like, I open up a can of worms where he's concerned because now he's just like stuck. He don't know how to go about getting that side feel on him, you know, because a lot of women do judge a lot that not out there sexually or haven't been or don't understand. They do judge that, and so I feel sorry for him. So now he's just single, period. He's, on my Facebook page, he sometimes inbox me and just say, hey, I'm like, hello, like that. Or he'll inbox me and say, I love your pictures, and I still, oh, yeah. Okay, I forgot to say this before I disconnect. Okay, so whoever he was dating the last time I talked to him, which was last year, this time last year actually, whoever he was dating asked him, who's that girl? because he still has a picture of me in his wallet like we're together. And he's like, I still got your picture in my wallet. He said, and the girl I'm dating opened it and saw it and was like, who is that? He said, and I just started laughing and said, nah, nobody, just a friend. She said, you got a friend like that all stuck in your wallet? I was like, you still got a picture of me from how many years? Like, yeah. He said, well, you won't give me one recently. I tried to take one off your Facebook page, but it won't let me do it, and all this and stuff. I'm like, so that's why I try to distance myself from him because, he's done some things I forgave him for, and everything, but he's not anyone I want to be left alone with. It's just, and especially when you tell me the next time we're in a place alone together that I won't leave, I take that seriously. And you meant it. You meant it. Because it's harder on you to let me leave than it is for you to keep me. His words, not mine. So with everything that you go through, like I said, I always try to learn a lesson. And from that I learned, sometimes there's a price to pay for whatever you do. And um, whatever you do, make sure you can live with the consequences, And at that time, I was damaged, and he was damaged because there was no way in the world it should have went as far as it did. And when I tell y'all, well, y'all don't know this man, but when I tell y'all, if y'all ever seen any movie with a dominatrix, you know how deep that stuff get. And when I tell y'all, it went deep, you know, hmm, with this man, me making him do what I wanted him to do. And that's just something he craves. He craves it, So, and most powerful men, y'all, I'm going to be honest with y'all, most powerful men, that's their flip side. That's why when you hear about a CEO getting caught with a stripper, a CEO getting caught with, you're like, how did that happen? Because most powerful men are very high sexually. Like, they like the weirdest, most outrageous. Yes, that's why they're so powerful, because on the flip side, they're submissive on that end. It's like their penance for being powerful. They take their punishment for having what they have. Yep. So that was my story about that. So I'm not gonna judge. I just hate that she said. I hate that she said it the way she said it. But when most strong women, you do what you can to make sure that your kids have. She is right. She said something a lot of women don't agree with. They won't agree with because they're afraid of the backlash of it. But she's right. A lot of women, you would be surprised what women down through the years have done to make sure rent's paid, kids have shoes, they have clothes on their back, field trip money, food in the refrigerator. You know, I don't feel like you should let your kids know what you did, because after all, you had them. Maybe because I'm telling y'all a lot of stuff, mostly really, to be honest, everything that I went through, the rapes, molestation, incest, dominatrix, and stripping and all that and stuff, my kids didn't find out about that until they were grown. And they found out because I wrote my first book. And they bought the book. And they were like, that's all you kept hearing. They was calling me, Mama, Mama, I didn't, Mama. Hey, mm-hmm. And then my second book followed up with it, and I answered more questions. And they was like, oh my goodness. So, but to them, I was a strong individual. And they tell everybody, honey, my mama made it do what it do with us. We didn't want for nothing. We had chores. We had to bring home good grades. We know if we didn't do it, she would whoop our butt. But we always ate. Because, like I say, y'all, I was a young girl cooking from scratch because that's what I was taught. I didn't understand all these quick meals. My kids, I introduced them to the finer restaurants in life because I wanted them to have culture. I wanted them to understand both sides. Before I had a car, we would take the torque and we would go to rich neighborhoods just to ride out there. We wouldn't even get off the bus. We would ride out there so they can see the mansions and the nice houses and stuff like that. And they was, could have their dream and know that, yeah, there is really people who live like this. And if you did what you're supposed to do, you could have this too. I never was one who kept them in their environment. They were in African dance. They were a part of a whole traveling African dance company. I mean, different things. So that's why I get mad at people that say, you don't know where I come from. It was hard and all this and stuff like that. You do what you do to keep your family strong. So I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. So my kids took different language classes. Um, I mean, just different things. I had them in a lot of stuff because I did not want them to be like what happened to me or like what I was seeing in the street. I wanted to be the most positive thing in their life and introduce them to other positive things. And so, they're well rounded, well cultured. They have great jobs. Like I said, my one child, she's almost through with nursing. She'll be a registered nurse in September. Um, I mean, it's great. It's great. So, my baby girl, she'll be going to college. She's got one more year of high school, and she's a phenomenal force to be reckoned with. She's a point guard right now as a junior for the varsity basketball team, and her name is out there. So, um, we already got two colleges that are looking at her. She knows where she wants to go. So, you know, it is what it is. So you never know. People can say what they want to say about me, but God has blessed me to see where He's brought me from. And I will always share that with everyone. So this is your girl, Coco929. I hope you enjoyed what I said. And remember, you never know where people come from or what they had to do to get where they are, to stay sound in their mind. So try to understand there's always two sides to a story, and then there's the truth that lies in the middle. God bless you. Smooches.